and welcome to Rathods Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 1st April 2025. So let's get started with our discussion. And before starting this discussion, so let me make you a small announcement. So we in Rathods Science Academy, we are going to start new batch for Prelims cum Mains Foundation 2026. And this course is going to be get started from April 8th onwards. And we are providing 5 days of free demo, that is from April 8th to April 12th. And try to utilize this opportunity. And the key features of this course is we are going to complete your each and every part, that is nook and corner of your syllabus. And next one is classes will be taken by expert faculty. And next one is there is daily answer writing practice from the beginning itself. And at the weekend you will be having revision test also. And by the end of this course you will be having your own handmade or handwritten notes for sure. And next important one here is we are also going to provide you the interview guidance from the first onwards. So these are the specific and special features of our course. Try to come and join this course for sure. And if you have any doubts regarding this course or any queries, you can call us on this number 8074765513. And if you want to meet me directly, you can come to the office. And I will be in the office from morning around 8:30 to evening around 7 p.m. And office is located in Ashok Nagar, exactly above Vikas Book Center, 2nd and 3rd floor, and opposite sub-register office. So you can come and you can meet me directly. So now let us see the first article, guys. Okay, if you see the title, so what is this article talking about? Summer said to be warmer, but El Nino unlikely during coming monsoon, says IMD. So what is the keyword? The keyword here is El Nino. Okay, so first keyword is El Nino and second keyword is IMD. Okay, so let me write these keywords. So first one is El Nino. Second keyword is IMD. So from which subject you will be seeing this El Nino, guys? From GS paper 1 under geography. So in this geography, you will be studying about world geography and Indian geography, right? So here this topic you will be studying under Indian geography. Under which chapter? Chapter name is Monsoon. So in your monsoons or climate of India, in this chapter you will be coming across this word called as El Nino and La Nina. Okay, so what the things that you have to see from El Nino? So first of all, you have to understand what is this El Nino, what is the meaning of El Nino. And next you have to know map of El Nino and La Nina. And you have to see what are the basic differences between La Nina and El Nino. And next you have to see what are the impacts of this El Nino and La Nina. So from all these areas, for sure you can expect a mains based question. So why this year you can expect a mains based question? So from last 4 years onwards, we are having La Nina. Okay, from past 4 years, we are having this La Nina. And now this year, we are expecting this El Nino. So because of this, there is a high chance of getting your mains based question. And even sometimes you also expect your prelims question regarding this El Nino. Okay, so all these are very important from your geography point of view. So where can you gather the information? So just read your 11th class NCERT. So in that book, you can get all the information regarding this El Nino and La Nina. And next important one here is IMD. So where you will be studying about this Indian Meteorological Department? So in your disaster management, which comes under your GS paper 3. So there you will be studying about different organizations which will be helpful in prevention, mitigation, management, rehabilitation, reconstruction of a disaster. So in that context, you will be seeing about different organizations which will be helpful for providing early warning to the people. So actually now IMD made a statement that we are going to have El Nino. And even though it is not yet confirmed, so we are going to again check it at the end of May or like April, so that we'll be getting the correct information like whether we are going to get La Nina or El Nino. But actually it is giving certain information so that we can give early warning to whom. So here, whenever you are getting El Nino, what happens? The impact will be there on rainfall, right? So will we get good rainfall? No, the rainfall will be decreased. So that what happens? We can give certain early warning to the farmers or the people who are doing this agriculture, that you have to shift towards water less intensive crops. As you all know that in India, most of the agriculture is dependent on rainwater. That is, rain-fed agriculture is very popular in India. So if you're not getting proper rainfall this year, can we ensure food security? No, this will be the problem. So because of this, we have to go for less water incentive crops. Why I'm talking about less water? Because as you know that Indian government will be providing MSP, that is minimum support price. So actually farmers, they tend to grow the crops which will get MSP, right? For example, they'll go for growing of especially rice in our country. Rice is a water, more intake water. So it will be taking more water, that is more water intake crop. So rather than growing that rice, we can go for other alternative crops like millets in this season, especially in this El Nino year. So that is the thing that you have to remember, guys. So now we have to see about all these points very clearly in this class. Okay, so focus, guys. So this article is saying that IMD has ruled out the possibility of an El Nino in coming southwest monsoon season. So that means in this rainy season, we are going to get this El Nino. So this is the thing which mainly finalized by IMD. Okay, so why we have to think about this El Nino? Because we have some alteration in our rainfall this year. Okay, there will be decreasing of rainfall, so that we have to focus on proper agriculture planning in India. Rather than growing this water high intensive crops, we can move towards water less intensive crops. And just one more problem here is, yes, in the title itself they said that there is going to increase summer temperature this year. Already we can see in this Telangana and Hyderabad especially, so there is more than 40 degrees centigrade of temperature. Now we are in just starting of April, that is today is starting of April, right? So if you see one week back, so even though in the March itself there is a very scorching temperature is there. So here this article is also warning that there will be further rising of temperature in this summer. So because of this, what happened? So we can expect heat waves, right? There will be increasing of temperature that will cause heat waves. And even especially some people who are working outside under the sun, they will be getting more vulnerable and they will be getting like sunstroke like that. And especially some regions, they will be having less infrastructure, less equipment. So in that region also, the people, they are going to be affected because of this heat waves. And even you know that because of increasing of heat, obviously dehydration will happen in your body and that will lead to health risk. And not only that, whenever there is increasing of temperature, there will be increasing of demand for energy also. So all these things that we need to take care of whenever this kind of statements which come in the news. And next one here is, this article is also saying about global warming is rising. So because of this increasing of global warming also, there is increasing of some more risk factors now. So we have to focus on adaptation, especially we have to focus on some strategies to mitigate this global warming as soon as possible. Okay, so that is the thing which mainly said. So actually, if you see some basic facts regarding this El Nino, so El Nino was first recognized by by Peruvian fishermen of the coast of Peru, and they saw that there is unusual warm water which is forming at this Peru region, and this Peruvian fishermen, they identified this concept first. And later on, Spanish immigrants call this phenomenon as El Nino. El Nino means nothing but little boy in Spanish. And they said that this El Nino is an irregular and it is intense. It is because of intense climate changes rather than warming of coastal surface water. So I want to explain this phenomena. So actually the image is not much clear. So here you can see this is India. So here we have Australia and we have South America. Australia, and here we have India, and that is South America. So normally what happens during this monsoon season, there will be LP, that is low pressure will be formed in this India, especially ITCZ is moving towards northwards. So this is ITCZ. So here we have high temperature. So because of this high temperature, low pressure will be formed over India. That is clear. And here in this Australia also, so this part we have low pressure. So here what happens is, in South America region, in this coastal region, so we have high pressure. So according to pressure gradient force, what happens? Always winds move from high pressure towards low pressure. So this is the thing that you have to see, that is according to PGF, that is pressure gradient force. Always winds move from high pressure to low pressure. So where now high pressure is there? In the South American coast, and low pressure is present on this Australian as well as India. That means winds will be moving in this direction. Okay, so this condition is called as normal year or La Nina. So in this La Nina or normal year, so we will be attracting good number of winds from this South America region, and we will be getting good rainfall. So what happens in this El Nino? I will be changing the color of pen. So normally in this El Nino, the conditions will be reversed. Okay, so now we have high pressure region at this Australia, and we have low pressure in this South America. Now from where the winds will move? So winds will move from high pressure to low pressure. So here high pressure is there and low pressure will be there normally on India, so that we will be attracting very less winds. Okay, during El Nino, we will be attracting very less winds. So because of this, whenever there is less winds, obviously there is decreasing of rainfall. Okay. So now if you see this condition, high pressure here and low pressure here in this El Nino, what will be the impact? So here high pressure means what happened? Whether there will be rainfall or not, there will be no rainfall. And low pressure means yes, winds formation will happen, and now here in this area we will get rainfall. So if there is no rainfall means what happens? There is expansion of deserts here. And whenever there is rainfall means, so which industry will be boosting here? Fishing industry will be boosting. And sometimes it will lead to floods in this South America region. So what will be the impact on India because of El Nino? The impact will be, there is decreased rainfall. Okay, that means there is decreased food security in our country. And next one is water, increasing of water scarcity. Okay, and even what about the temperature? Temperature will be also increased. So these will be the impact in India. This will be the impact in Australia. This will be the impact in South America. So in this way, whenever you are studying any concept in geography, you have to be very careful about, so what is the reason behind that and what is the impact of that. So for example, you will be studying about grasslands, you will be studying about deserts. So why they are present in that area only? There is a reason behind it. So you have to see what is that reason. Reason is also the very important thing that you have to focus. So because of that reason only, you will be getting mains based questions and as well as prelims based questions in your geography. You have to be very much careful about this concept in geography. Okay, so now let us see this thing clearly. So what is the difference between this La Nina and El Nino? So in this La Nina, we will be having normal rainfall. So whenever there is normal rainfall, what about the temperature? Temperature is obviously cool, right? And what about El Nino? There is decreased rainfall. So whenever there is decreasing rainfall, what happened? What about the temperature? Temperature will be somewhat high compared to that of normal. That means warmer than normal. And this one is trade winds. So we'll be attracting more trade winds in this La Nina. But what about this El Nino? It is weaker or less winds that we can attract. And this one is rainfall. What about rainfall in India? We are getting good rainfall in this La Nina, and El Nino, very less rainfall. And what is the impact of this La Nina? So especially in South America, we will be getting droughts and heavy rainfall in Australia. But here in this El Nino, what happens? Droughts will happen in Australia, or expansion of deserts happens, and even there will be good rainfall in the South America that will lead to sometimes floods also. And what about global temperature? Globally, the temperature will be cool if you are having La Nina. Globally, the temperature will be warm when we have this El Nino. So in this way, you have to compare and write a table regarding El Nino and as well as La Nina. So what is the impact? I already clearly said there is droughts in Australia and even India also. Water scarcity will happen, and Southeast Asia, and even especially floods will happen in the South America and as well as North America region. And what happens because of these droughts? Crop production will be increased or decreased? Decreased crop production, and it will lead to food insecurity in the different countries. And next one is there is warmer temperature in this El Nino. And next one here is warmer water reduce fish stocks also. It will be affecting even fishing industries in this Australia region and as well as in India. Okay, so all these are the things that you have to remember, guys. And now let us see the next article. Title says Wayanad landslides wiped out 2 forest encroachments. Very, very important topic. So as you all know that Wayanad was affected with a disastrous landslide in 2024. So now the report which came on this Wayanad landslide, and this article is saying that because of this Wayanad landslide, 2 encroachments in this forest had been wiped out. That means encroachments are nothing but the people's gathering or people settlements in this region has been wiped out because of this landslide. So what is the keyword? Keyword is landslide. Okay, let me write the keyword, that is Wayanad landslides. So from which subject you can see this? It caused a disaster, right? That is from GS paper 3 under disaster management you can see this. And next one is landslide. Where you can see this landslide? In your geography case. So in GS paper 1 under geography, especially in world geography, in a chapter called as movements, earth movements. In earth movements, in that also we have slow movements and rapid movements. So here landslides which comes under rapid earth movements. For example, the slow movement is creep. Creep is a slow movement, and the rapid movements are landslides, avalanches, debris slide, everything which comes under rapid movements. So from this topic you will be seeing about this landslides, guys. So here from disaster management point of view, what you have to see. So if you want to see the dimensions, so first from disaster management, you can see like what is a landslide. You have to see about what is a landslide, first one. And next one you have to see about what are the causes of landslides. And you have to see about different types of landslides. And next important one is what is the impact of this landslide. So this article is talking about the impact. That means 2 forest encroachments had been wiped off. Okay. And next important thing that you have to see is vulnerability map. Vulnerability map of India. That means in India, in which regions we can see this landslides as a threat. Okay, and next you have to see about disaster management cycle. That is pre-disaster, during disaster, and after disaster or post-disaster. What are the steps we can take? So in this pre-disaster, we have early warning system or prevention and as well as mitigation. And during disaster, we have to provide rescue. Okay, rescue and relief for the people who are involved in this disaster. And next one is after disaster, we have to focus on rehabilitation and as well as reconstruction. Okay, all these things that you have to see in this DM cycle. Okay, if you do all these things, then your work is done, guys. Okay, now let us see this in clear. So actually, what is the reason why this landslide happened in this Wayanad region? It is very, very important. So where is this Wayanad located? So if you see the location of Wayanad, it is in Kerala region. So here we have Western Ghats, right? So in this Western Ghats region, so because of some activities, what are those activities? Like mining, like developmental activities or construction activities, because of climate change, heavy rainfall, So because of all these reasons, what happened? So this Western Ghats is also very much vulnerable to this landslides now. Okay, so now let us see what are the reasons why this Wayanad landslide happened. So Wayanad's terrain consists of a soil layer over hard rocks. So normally hard rocks will be there. On that hard rock we are having soil. So whenever there is very high rainfall, what happens? So because of that, water and soil will be mixed. Okay, so what happens, the soil which is present there in that region will be get saturated with the water, and whenever water and soil are mixed, what happens, that will form a slurry. It will be very slippery, right? So what happens, that will be coming whatever the slope which is there, so now this slurry will come very fast because of gravity. Okay, so whenever there is intense rainfall, it saturates the soil. That means soil will be mixes with this water and it will weakens its bonds with the rocks. That will causes landslides. And this one is because of the recent increasing of climate change or recent global warming, even Arabian Sea is getting warmer and warmer. So whenever warmer water is there, means what happens? So water will be converted into vapor and it will be moving up, and after reaching certain height, whenever it is getting condensation molecules, then what happens, it will be getting condensed and it will be forming clouds. So whenever there is a hotter water area, means obviously the amount of the clouds which is mainly formed will be also high. So whenever there is high amount of clouds formed, means whatever the rainfall it is causing will be also high. There will be the intense rainfall, extremely heavy rainfall in this Western Ghats region. So this is second important reason. And next one is climate change also shifted the rain bearing belt, leading to the more convective rainfalls in the southern regions, especially in this Wayanad, which is located in Kerala region. So it is getting more amount of rainfall. And you know about this convection and conduction, right? Convection is nothing but whenever there is a high temperature, air will be getting warmed, water will be getting warmed, and that will be carried away up. And what happens? A cloud will form. That is called as conventional rainfall. So conventional rainfall, which happens during normally evening times, it is also called as 4 o'clock rainfall. Okay, so because of this conventional rainfall, which occurs when heated air raises water vapor and condenses at higher altitudes, and that will causes rainfall in the same area without being carried away wind. So because of this, especially this region is very much vulnerable to this conventional rainfall. So because of all these reasons, there is intense, very high intense rainfall in this Wayanad region, and that led to this landslide. Okay, so what is the meaning of landslide? Landslide is nothing but the downward, very rapid movement. So it may be the movement of rock, it may be movement of soil or any debris on the slope. So here, what are the factors which are triggering these landslides? For example, heavy rainfall or earthquake or volcanic activity or any other human activity, and even groundwater changes. So because of this, landslides will happen. So if you see the types of landslides, we have different types. First one is slides. Slides is nothing but movement along a ruptured surface. Okay, movement along a ruptured surface, including rotational and transitional slides. And flow is nothing but soil or rock which is mixed with water, and it will be moving as a fluid. Okay, for example, we have earth flows, we have debris flows, we have mud flows, and as well as creep. And this one is spread is nothing but, that is nothing but the lateral extension, the cracking of the mass. And this one is topple. Topples means nothing but on the vertical slopes, if the rocks or if the soil or if there is anything which is falling on the vertical slope, that is called as topples. Okay, so these are the different types of landslides. So if you see vulnerability map of India, so in India, this Western Ghats region is very much vulnerable to have this landslides. And you know, Himalayan region. Okay, Himalayan northeast region and as well as Western Ghats region. So these two areas are very much vulnerable to this landslides. So why Himalayan region? Because of plate tectonics. Okay, plate to plate movements are happening. So it is convergent boundaries that we are having here. And next one is because of rainfall from this Arabian Sea. Okay, because of climate change and because of saturation of soil with water. So it is one important reason why these landslides are happening in this Western Ghats. Clear? Yes, now let us see the next article. So this article is also related to that only. So title says significant increase in monsoon rainfall in Western Ghats over past 800 years, says study. That means nothing but this article is saying that there is increasing of conventional rainfall. Why? Because of increasing of heat. That is nothing but global warming in this Arabian Sea. So I want to explain this conventional rainfall. What is it? Okay, let us take this is Earth's surface. So here we have sun. So from sun what happens? We will be getting short waves, right? That is called as insolation. So insolation is nothing but incoming solar radiation. The heat that we are getting from the sun, it is in the form of short waves. Okay, so because of that what happened? Our Earth's surface get heated. If there is any water, what happens? Water will be also get heated, and water now from liquid form it will be converted into vapor form. Okay, so what happens whenever there is high temperature? So Earth will be getting heated, the air which is present on this Earth surface will be getting heated, water will be getting heated. So one important property of air is whenever it is getting heat, it will become light. So whenever it become light, it will be having tendency to move upwards. So here what happened? The pressure, the air pressure which is acting on the surface will be now reduced. So that what happens? That will lead to formation of low pressure. And what happens whenever air is moving from Earth's surface to higher? Always what happens if air is moving 1 kilometer away from the Earth's surface? There will be decreasing of 6.5 degrees centigrade of temperature of that air. That means whenever we are moving from the surface towards upper layers of atmosphere, what happened? Temperature will be reduced. At what rate? For 1 kilometer height, 6.5 degrees of temperature will be reduced. Then what happened after reaching certain height? The temperature will be obviously reduced. For example, if there is any condensation molecule or nuclei like dust or anything is there, what happens? This warm air will be touching that and it will be forming clouds, and this process is called as condensation. So after this cloud which is filled with enough water, then what happened? It will cause rainfall. Okay, so this kind of rainfall is called as convectional rainfall. Okay, convectional rainfall. And in which region we can see this convectional rainfall? Especially in tropical region, rainfall is convectional rainfall. And especially we can see between 5 degrees north to 5 degrees south latitudes. And this rainfall is called as 4 o'clock rainfall. That means in this region every day at 4 o'clock the rain will happen. So whenever there is very heavy rainfall, so which kind of forest we can see? Evergreen tropical forest. So in this region we can see evergreen tropical forest. So what is the reason behind the formation of this evergreen tropical forest between 5 degrees north and 5 degrees south? The reason is because of convectional rainfall. Okay, and if you say types of rainfalls, we have mainly 3 types of rainfalls. So one is convectional rainfall, second one is orographic rainfall, and third one is cyclonic rainfall. Okay, so this article is about convectional rainfall. And if you see this study, what is the study is saying that? Recently one study has been conducted by Central University of Kerala. Okay, recently one study had been done by Central University of Kerala. And this study which mainly said that there is significant increase in monsoon rainfall in Western Ghats from past 1800 years. So they did study from past 1600 years. And they found that from last 800 years onwards, there is increasing of rainfall. That means from last 800 years onwards, there is climate change. There is increasing of global warming in especially Arabian Sea. So whenever there is increasing of temperature in this Arabian Sea, it will cause convectional rainfall in this double region, that is Western Ghats region. Okay, clear? And now if you want to see what are the points that gave in this article here is, so they experience, especially this Western Ghats have experienced a rise in monsoon rainfall over last 800 years. So because of, what is the reason? Global warming and climate change. And next one here is this study which mainly conducted, like taking the data of last 1600 years, and they demonstrated that from last 800 years onwards there is changing of climate change. And next one here is this study which also find that there is extreme weather occurrences. So what happens whenever there is extreme rainfall in this Western Ghats? So already you know that Western Ghats is very much vulnerable to this landslides. If suddenly landslides happen, means what happens? It is having impact on the public, right? So we have to focus on more public safety now. And next one here is, if there is any disaster which is going to happen because of this heavy rainfall, like it may be floods or it may be this kind of landslides or anything, if happens, if it leads to the loss of life, means we have to focus on even proper disaster management also. And next one here is, we have to focus on sustainable land use planning. So we should not give permissions for illegal mining or illegal construction or illegal developmental activities, because it will further leads to the vulnerability of this region. And next one here is, experts, they have to focus on especially the importance of environmental policies. So especially when our government is coming up with environmental policies, it should not come up with the short-term policies. It should come up with the long-term policies, so that we can prevent climate-related risk as well. Okay, so that is the thing which mainly said, and you have to see this article very detailedly. And now let us see the next article. CISF conducts awareness drive along coastline. So what is the CISF? Where we studied the CISF in our syllabus? So we have this topic in our GS paper 3 under internal security. In internal security, we studied about different forces, paramilitary forces, right? We have BSF, we have Assam Rifles, we have ITBP. So in that, we also have the CISF. So what is the CISF? That is Central Industrial Security Force. So actually, what is the role? So role here is providing the security for industries. And now because of recent security breach in the parliament, now the security of this parliament is also under the hands of the CISF. Just see about some basic facts regarding this CISF. Okay, and you can expect a question regarding the CISF, and especially if you are preparing for 2025 prelims, because of the change of its role. That is, earlier parliament was not under CISF, but now it is under CISF. So you may expect a question regarding this CISF, guys. You have to be very much careful. And now let us see the next article. Title says NEP 2020 in the classroom, from policy to practice. So here there is a very high chance of getting question regarding NEP, and in our today's mains practice also I will be giving you the question regarding this NEP, guys. So please be focused here. So here we have to know about important dimensions regarding NEP. So what is this NEP? National Education Policy 2020. So from which subject you can see this? From GS paper 2 under governance, right? So it is a policy related to education. So what are the dimensions you have to see? You have to see what is this NEP. Okay, so actually we came up with this NEP 2020 now, right? So it replaced earlier which educational policy of our country. You have to see that. Year is very important. And next you have to see what are the objectives of this NEP and what are the important features of this NEP, and you have to see what are the important challenges of this NEP and way forward. So you have to see all these things. Okay, and even advantages. What are the advantages, challenges, and way forward? So if you see all these things, then your work is done. And this topic is important from both your prelims and as well as mains, guys. It is important from both your prelims and mains. You have to be very much careful regarding this NEP 2020. Okay, now let us see this clearly. So actually we came up with this new education policy or national education policy in 2020, and it is the first education policy in our 21st century, and actually it replaced our national education policy of 1986. Make a note of it. So because of this NEP 2020, we are replacing our earlier policy which came up in year 1986. And very important thing, so which committee recommended for this NEP? That is Kasturi Rangan, Dr. K. Kasturi Rangan committee. And even you can come up with the same name, Kasturi Rangan, for Western Ghats development also. So you should not be confusing it. So it is about K. Kasturi Rangan is related to education policy. And this one is this education policy proposes various reforms in school and as well as higher education. And even they gave some advices regarding technical education as well, so that we are going to meet the needs of 21st century. And if you see in this national education policy, we have 5 pillars, and you have to remember those 5 pillars. So first one is access, second one is equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. So these are the 5 important pillars of this national education policy. And this policy also aligned with 2030 sustainable development goals also. Okay, the important aim it is to transform India's knowledge and as well as global knowledge superpower by making both school and college education more holistic. And we have to make our education more flexible and as well as multidisciplinary. And this policy which aimed at bringing out of unique capabilities of each student. So if you see how it is different from earlier policies, now we are focusing on holistic development. So earlier, so we focused on just providing classes to the students, and just after classes we are leaving them. But now we are focusing on critical thinking, and even we are allowing the discussions in the classes, and we are focusing on analytical learning also, so that we can improve the talent and as well as human pool. And this one here is we are also integrating vocational education. So that means nothing but we are also focusing on some training activities, improving of skills in the students. And next one here is we are focusing on technology enabled learning. So in this new education policy, we are focusing on especially technology development in education, and we are encouraging use of digital tools and digital platforms. For example, if you go to even uh, a government school, so now they are having computer labs, and even they are also started teaching on these digital panels in many schools, right? So that means we are focusing on integration of technology, and we have to enhance the learning experience of the students. And we are focusing on promoting of multilingualism, especially some remote areas and tribal areas. If you're going for teaching in normal other society, that means nothing but mainstream society languages like Telugu or classical language or Hindi. So the students who are coming from the remote areas or tribal areas, they might not understand the mainstream society language. So because of this, will they learn the things? No, they won't, right? So in that areas, we have to go for teaching in their mother tongue. So we are promoting multilingualism, okay? And next one here is we are focusing on flexibility and as well as multidisciplinary curriculum. For example, so this National Education Policy 2020, which offers subject selections and as well as software trainings in the school, transfer of credit, multiple entries, and multiple exit systems like that. So it will be like more flexible compared to that of other national education policies. And what are the targets, guys? The first one here is universalization of education, and we are focusing on even early childhood care and education to secondary education by 2030. And it is focusing on sustainable development goal 4, and we are focusing on attaining foundational learning and as well as numeracy skills by 2025. And we are focusing on gross enrollment ratio. That means the student enrollment in the school should be 100% by 2030, and 50% gross enrollment ratio in higher education by 2035. And we are focusing on bringing back 2 crore children to the mainstream through the open schooling system. And as you all know that especially in the rural areas, literacy level is low. That means if you're focusing on this open school system, then what happens? We can bring back them to the education. And as far as teachers ought to be prepared for assessment reforms by 2023. And we are focusing on inclusive and as well as equitable education system by 2030. So all these are the targets under this 2020 National Education Policy. And what are the provisions? Very important. The first one is we are focusing on ensuring universal access, especially at all levels of school, that is even preschool, primary school, and higher schools education. We are focusing on universal access to the school education at all levels, that is from preschool to secondary level. And we are focusing on early childhood care and education with a new curriculum and as well as pedagogical structure. So earlier we have this 10 plus 2 structure. That means nothing but till 10th class, 10 plus 2 means nothing but we have intermediate. So now we are focusing on 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. That means we are focusing on even 3 to 6 years people also now. And this one is we are focusing on foundation literacy as well as numeracy. And even we are focusing on reforms in this school curriculum. For example, if the schools want to include arts, if they want to include games or sports, so they are flexible now. So they can conduct their own curriculum like arts, like sciences, like extracurricular activities, and even they can include vocational activities like that, whatever they are interested in. So they can prepare their curriculum based on their priorities. And this one is we need to focus on even teacher training and as well as management of teachers. And even we are focusing on multilingualism, that is nothing but teaching in mother tongue. And this one is we are also focusing on assessment and as well as accreditation mechanism. For this, we came up with this PARAK, that is nothing but review and analysis of knowledge for holistic development. So we are going to set up one standard setting body so that we can analyze the students' analysis, everything. Okay. And next one here is very important topic. Why are tensions high in Arctic region? So where this Arctic region is located? So if you draw the globe, so here we have 0 degrees equator, and here 90 degrees north, and here 90 degrees south. Tropic of Cancer, and we have Arctic Circle, and here we have Tropic of Capricorn, Antarctic Circle. So which is the Arctic region? The region here we have is called as Arctic region, right? So normally what is the important feature of this Arctic region? It is covered by snow and ice. It is covered by snow and ice. So what is happening now? So whenever it is covered by snow and ice, so do we have any access to this Arctic region? Very less access to this Arctic region we have because it is covered with snow and ice. Now what is happening? There is increasing of climate change, increasing of global warming. So because of this, what is happening now? Melting of ice is happening. So because of melting of ice, whatever the resource which is present here, now the people will be having access, right? So now there is a fighting in this Arctic region is happening because of melting of ice, because of global warming. So that is the thing which is mainly said in this article, guys. So if you see this article, it is saying that the Arctic, the northernmost area of the planet, the Arctic, the northernmost area of the planet has remained largely isolated for centuries. Because what happens to this area which is very much covered with thick ice and as well as snow. So what is happening here is because of climate change, it is increasing melting of ice caps. So because of this melting of ice caps into water means now we can use that route for the seaways, and even whatever the resources which are there in that region, now we can explore them. So what is happening here is now because of melting of this ice caps in this region, now it is providing opportunities for emerging global powers. Whoever the global powerful countries are there, now they are trying to explore this region. Okay, so actually from 2009 itself, so US Geological Survey remote estimated that 13% of world's undiscovered oil reserves are present in this region. Okay, so why now countries are focusing in this region? What they want to explore in this region? So they want to explore 13% of oil reserves, and not only oil reserves, even 30% of untapped natural gas is present here. So what is the importance of Arctic region? So we have oil reserves and as well as we have natural gas reserves. So as you all know that every country needs their energy security, right? So for that energy security, if they are exploring this region, so will they become energy dominant countries? Yes. So actually the various islands and coastal areas in this Arctic, they are mainly controlled by 8 countries. So which are those 8 countries which are sharing line with this Arctic Circle? Okay, which are those 8 countries which are controlling this Arctic region? So we have Canada, Denmark, and even Greenland, Finland, Iceland, Norway, Russia, Sweden, and US. So these are the nations which are part of Arctic Council. You have to make a note somewhere, Arctic Council. Okay, Arctic Council, it is an international body which is tasked. What is the task of that Arctic Council? It is to protect the environment, and they have to conduct scientific research. That research should focus on the interest of indigenous peoples in this region. Okay, so now many countries they are focusing on this region to explore this oil reserves and as well as natural gas. Okay, and even Russia want to use this area for navigation as well. That is nothing but use this water for its waterways. So these are the important things that you have to remember, guys. And these are the important articles that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I'm concluding. Thank you so much for watching, and please do like this class and share this class, and don't forget to subscribe to this Rathods IS Academy and try to join this course, that is Prelims cum Mains Foundation course. We are providing both on online and offline. And if you want to talk to me directly, you can call us, or you can directly come and meet me in the office. Thank you, guys.